I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
All right, everybody, bright and early on a Saturday morning. It is the Jaguar Journal. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Got my man Mike on the board as we getting things rocking and rolling this morning. As you know, as we get started, we want you to keep up with the Jaguar Journal across everywhere that we are at. We're right here on 107.3 FM in the Baton Rouge capital city area. If you listen on radio, if you're watching on our live, of course, you can watch on Facebook as well as our YouTube channel live, and to keep up with us across all social media. We're on X, also on Instagram. We're on Twitch TV, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. So you can keep up with us all across there. Be sure to subscribe to the Jaguar Journal YouTube channel and follow us all across all of those social sites and continue to grow with us as we continue to take this thing to the next level. Glad to have you guys with us. And many of you have thawed out and survived the winter weather across the region, but now cold temperatures coming in today. One of the coldest days that we'll see this year thus far across the region. Everywhere is going to feel cold. And I tell people all the time, if it's cold in South Louisiana, I know it's cold across the rest of the country. To be cold this far down in the country, in the South, has to be cold everywhere else. So, you know, in Arkansas, I was checking in with my mom. They got snow. They got ice. Actually, it was the ice first, then the snow on top of it, which created a real travel problem for a lot of people up there. And if you've never been where my mom is in Little Rock is exactly what it is, Little Rock. It is built on the side of a mountain. So it's very hilly. There's a lot of roads that you do not want to be on when it's winter weather precipitation out there. You will slide straight down the hill into nowhere. So then my grandmother in Chicago called and checked on her. We're talking about below. One day, I think it was down, the low was down to -10 up in Chicago, along with the snow and everything else. So she said, you know, it's cold, Perry, when the people not on the side of the road begging for money. They not trying to wash your windshield and not going. I said, it's got to be cold because they don't never stop to hustle. So it's so cold In Chicago, they've had to stop the hustle on the side of the road. So, and I know in both places, both my mom and my grandmother were both out at the stores. My mom said you couldn't even find a banana. That's what they just raided the stores. Chicago, similar way, just lots of people out, lots of people just moving around and making sure that they got everything that they needed before they hampered down in the cold weather. And with that cold weather, I hope you guys took care of your pets outside. I know plenty of you guys are, deal with your plants. You have outdoor plants as well. So hope you did the necessary things in order to ensure that you was ready, and as well as the pipes. I've seen some places where the pipes did burst because people didn't do the necessary things to make sure that their pipes were well taken care of and wrapped. They didn't drip the water. And that is a nightmare when you lose water pressure due to bust pipes. Some areas I've even saw it was so much snow, the weight of the snow collapsed buildings and garages and all types of stuff. Man, this thing really came down on us last week. Luckily for us here in Baton Rouge, we were spared. We got cold winter in terms of outdoors, but we didn't get any snow, any ice. Now, there was plenty of rain, and as much rain that fell, I said, man, had this turned into anything, because there were flash flood watches and warnings around here in this area because of the amount of rainfall that fell in such a short time. But I just thought about that, man. Had that been anything other than rain, let's say sleet, snow, it was plenty of it. And we just missed the line just north of us last week, as my man Henry Blake's WFB meteorologist came in and had an opportunity to talk to us about those winter weather advisories, the warnings and watches for this area. So the same thing this weekend, including today. Very, very, very cold temperatures. You guys got to make sure that you stay warm. Check on the elderly. Make those calls. Check on folks who you may not otherwise check on too often. Make sure that they are good and taken care of in this very cold weather. Put those pets up somewhere. I saw videos of people leaving pets out. Proper authorities come, and some of these pets, unfortunately, being left outside, froze to death. So there's a lot of things that could happen when you start to talk about this time of year, and we seen it. Remember, this time last year, we were seeing snow. I saw it on my Facebook memory. Snow last year in South Louisiana. So we get in this trend of cold weather. It is Mardi Gras. I'm just hoping things warm up before we get into the real thick of Mardi Gras. I don't want a cold Mardi Gras. I'll take a Mardi Gras where I can walk around without a coat. I'm actually cool with a Mardi Gras with some short sleeves. Light jacket, I'll even take that. A light jacket. But if I got to dress in full coat, hoodie, scarf, hat, that's just a tough time to be out in that weather that long. Just for somebody to throw me something to have a good time. And happy Mardi Gras to everybody out there as we continue to get closer and deeper into the season. New Orleans is going to be the place to be. I have a cousin from Kansas City hit me up, said, man, he'll be down for about a week in New Orleans. I know the entire region. Now, I've seen videos of like small town Mardi Gras, which is completely different. I saw a piece that Vice did, and man, that was a different type of Mardi Gras. With the mask, and they chasing the chickens and running around. That's a different Mardi Gras. That's a Mardi Gras a lot of people have never seen before, including myself in person. One of the places I had a really good time, small town USA Mardi Gras, was across the river in New Roads. The whole community came out for a day of festivities to celebrate Mardi Gras. I had a really good time. I love when those towns like that come alive. People from all across the region come over to hang out, and it really feels like the small town is just busting through the seams of people and I'm not going to necessarily say tourists, but a lot of folks coming back home. Now, Mardi Gras in New Orleans, that's tourists. It feels like it through and through until you get into some of those neighborhoods and you get a chance to be with the neighborhood folks. But through and through New Orleans, it feels like the tourist Mardi Gras. New Rose, I felt like, hey, it was a huge family reunion. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I went to Mardi Gras over in Plaquemine. Not saying it was nothing bad with it, but it didn't have the same vibe as New Rose. Now, I believe in the past, places like St. Martinville, Maringouin, some of these other smaller places have had done it, but because of violence and issues where it's hard to govern a large group of folks coming into those small towns, you know, man, it just takes one person to do something dumb. And why do you wait till we all ready to have a good time to want to do something dumb? I'm like the old Wild Wild West. Meet me in the sugarcane field at 12 o'clock and we'll duel it out. Meet me in the sugarcane field. Me and you, let's duel it out. Ain't no need of trying to do that amongst people, man. And kids and families, where it's a good time of the year where we're supposed to be hanging out and enjoying ourselves. Where I'm supposed to be able to unwind a little bit and say, man, you know what? This is a good time. Some good food, good drinks with good people. So that's the main thing you want to, you know, for me. I enjoy Mardi Gras. My friends outside of Louisiana, Mardi Gras does not resonate with them. So when I start to explain and get excited about this time of year, they don't get it until they get here. And then they come be a part of one of the parades. Of course, they always want to ask about New Orleans, but Baton Rouge has a pretty decent Mardi Gras scene itself. I personally, with my son, the South Down Parade, I thoroughly enjoy that. Very small, put together within the neighborhood, the South Down community, and of course, the Spanish Town. Now, I've been to some others, but it is what it is. It's that time of year, everybody. It is Mardi Gras. It is cold. We just hoping to warm things up. I know something that'll warm you up. You have to go get it a little later, though. All right, let's get ready to take a break, everybody. We'll come back on the side. We'll continue more of the Jaguar Journey. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back. It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
For the first time in the 79-year history of the Southwestern Athletic Conference Elite Championship game determines the overall champion today. Live from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, it's the champions of the East, Jackson State, taking on Southern, the champs from the West. Hello, everybody. George Johnson along with Charles Mann. And I got to tell you, a great poet once said this is the way it's supposed to be. And it is. Number 11 Southern taking on number 15 Jackson State. Both programs have won 3 SWAC titles over the decade. So it's only fitting in the first SWAC championship game we determine the program of the decade. We've got a lot of offense out on the field. And yet this guy right here, he's going to tell you this game's all about D.
It's always all about D, George. You know that. It's always all about D.
An all-pro defensive end is going to tell you that. When you think about Jackson State, this is a team that is very potent offensively, but defensively they've led the SWAC throughout most of the year, and they've got the best player in defense in the SWAC, and that's Tommy Head.
Tommy Head. Get used to saying that name. You'll say it all day. He'll be all over the field. He's always around the football. He's the leading tackler on this team. He also has 5.5 sacks.
At one point this year, Southern led the nation in scoring defense. Then they ran into Florida A&M. They've got a lot of guys out there that can get it done, but at the top of the list is DeMarcus Miller.
DeMarcus Miller, the linebacker coach, Terrence Graves, told me there's one word to describe this kid, and that is relentless. He's only 5'10", 285 pounds. He makes a lot of plays, though.
Relentless, appropriate word for our third member of the broadcast team, and that's Joe Clare, who's standing by down on the sideline. Joe?
Yes, indeed. I'm down here on the field capturing all the pageantry and revelry that is black college football. Birmingham, Alabama is a lovely city. This is the inaugural SWAC championship in their city, so they came out to have a good time, I will be covering the bands, the cheerleaders, shout-outs, all of that kind of stuff. Back to you guys up top.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. You know, earlier this year, Southern beat Jackson State, the 4th straight win over the Tigers. But what's most impressive about Southern, they haven't lost a conference game in 25 outings. They put it on the line against Jackson State.
We look at the starting lineups brought to you by Western Union Money Transfer, the fastest way to send money worldwide. You saw the backs. Here's your offensive line. Damon Nivens is a first-team All-SWAC member. Defensively, there's your starting lineups for Jackson State's defense. Chandler, Tommy Head, Edward Reese, pretty good middle linebacker. Rashard Anderson is a professional prospect, and they say he will be in the NFL next year. It is your starting lineup, brought to you by Western Union. Mark Washington is your quarterback, Destry Wright, the all-time leading.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I am Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Just a little bit after 7:15. Good morning to everybody listening on Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody out there watching on our Facebook and YouTube Live. Good morning. Glad to have you guys with us. As we get into now January, headed into February, we're starting to talk about the spring sports, right? And one of the spring sports at Southern University is tennis, both on the men and the women's side. And the head coach, as they call him, Championship Conyers, is joining me here this morning. My man, Coach Jeffrey Conyers. Good morning, Coach Conyers.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Perry. How you doing, brother?
Doing good,
good
man.
Morning,
Glad to have you
Nation.
on. What you say?
Yes, sir. I say good morning, and good morning to the Jaguar Nation and everybody listening this morning to us.
Man, glad to have you on, man. Championship Conyers, that name does not change because of what you've done with so much here at Southern University with the tennis team. But now, incorporating the men's tennis that's just come online for a couple years now, along with women's tennis that have seen success. And men's tennis right now has already started the season. You guys started on January the 16th over in Mobile, Alabama, on the campus of South Alabama, and then headed over to New Orleans on the 17th to take on Tulane. Let's start on the men's side for you and this men's team headed into this year.
This year, we got a lot of excitement this year going on with the men's program. Like you were saying, bringing back the men's tennis team 3 years ago. We struggled to get that fulfill the team those first 2 years. So this year we finally got a full squad. We're looking to make a run for it. We started off with Tulane in South Alabama the week before last, and right now we're trying to get the guys to practice as the match play. That match play, we're trying to play our way back into shape, picking up the tempo of practice to match pace and everything. So we're looking for big things coming down the stretch. We got a couple coming up. In fact, we got a couple coming up next weekend here in Baton Rouge against ULL and Lamar here on campus to be the first home match on the new home tennis court on Southern's campus.
Looking at your men's tennis team, man, give us some names of some of the guys that's student athletes for you that you're looking to have success with this year off the men's tennis side.
Definitely looking for some big things coming out with Lawazi Nwenwa, South African guy. He's been here for all 3 years, bringing it back. Gabriel Inyang, also one of the first two guys that we brought back when we started the program. So we're looking at those guys to bring in some leadership to the younger guys coming in, and also to get the winning going. Like I was telling both squads. Well, I was telling somebody. I think it was squads or either in one of the interviews on the overtime show that the old home had a lot of history. Now the new courts don't have any history, so it's up to y'all to make the history. And hopefully it's going to be a positive impact, positive reflection to go into that history that we start on these new courts.
And on the men's side, when you talk about recruiting, for you, is recruiting based off of high school talent, transfer portal? What does that look like on the men's side of tennis?
We're mostly looking for those high school players. Right now, we have a all international squad. Well, I guess they call us Little Africa over there throughout. All my guys are from Africa, right? They are all ranging all over Africa right now. So we're a little Africa on the men's side. We got a couple of girls on the women's side as well from Africa. So they kind of refer to us as little Africa in the conference, and I guess around the country. So first off, we start off when we're recruiting, we start off in the States. That's our first grab, and that's my biggest thing I'm trying to do right now on the men's side. We're trying to get some more Americans, and once we try to do that, if it does come out that we're unable to, then we brought ourselves out internationally. Oh, I said all of them. We got some guys from the Caribbean, 2 brothers from Trinidad. So we got a pretty good mix. But hopefully that's our main focus when recruiting this year. Get some American guys, at least 1 to 2, and then so we can diverse that team a little bit more.
Let me ask you this: when you talk about international team, and more particularly at a HBCU, and you being a coach going out looking for talent, what does this look like on a national level in terms of young people being developed and playing tennis that, let's just say, in the African-American community? Is it tougher, seem like now more than ever, or what does that landscape look like out there within America when you talk about the youth and African-Americans and tennis?
It is international tennis it's kind of taking over the college realm and with amongst the spring sports, especially on the mid majors, the HBCUs, the mid majors, those lower P4s, P5s, they are going the international route. Try to stay competitive with those that are getting the top Americans. If you're top 5, top 10 in the country, it's kind of easy to get those top players in the country that you want. But then all the other programs are trying to scramble out there to try to get some international players. So we're trying to stay in there where we can get the American kids as well. When it comes to the African American community, with tennis in particular, right now we're starting to see the younger kids. It's a good crop coming up right now. So we got to wait about maybe 2-3 years down the road where we can get that talent back and we can start getting the talent that we used to get amongst the tennis players in the program that we had to get us back up to par. Not just saying that we're not at that level right now and in that place right now. We're trying to get up there, and we're going to try to compete as hard as we can with the ones we get in the international kids, but we are waiting on those top Americans that we need to make this tennis team great as well.
Let's look on the women's side. You guys got started on Thursday, January the 22nd. You took on UL. Then you have a match at Tulane today at 12 o'clock, man. Talk about the women's side of things and what you're looking for, because that program has been around longer than the men's side. So the foundation has been there, and that's where the success that you've had for a long time has come from on that side of things with tennis.
It has. We competed with that team throughout. In 2008, we got rid of the men's team. We kept going with the women's team. So we've been in the midst with the women's team, just trying to get up. We've been finishing around that 4 or 5 area, right? The last couple of years, we're trying to get back up to that top 2. Like I told them I told the coach from Florida and then before she won it, I told her in that match, I said, this conference gonna run through us. Whoever wins this match, go get this win. And unfortunately, we came away with the tough loss to them that last year. So we're looking for some good things this year with the women's team. Definitely trying to get that, solidify that doubles point, and then getting us 3 singles points out there.
Let's talk about some of the young ladies representing Southern University on the tennis side, man. Give us some names that we need to know when it comes to women's tennis.
Of course, we got an older squad led by Tay Singh at the number 1 spot. Young lady out of Botswana. Like I said, we got some African players out on the women's team as well. Botswana, Shad Habib out of Egypt. Then we go to the UK with Letitia Grant, and then we got a really good. We did go to the portal last year. We went and got one out of UTEP. UTEP got rid of their women's program. I guess they were putting a little bit more money into the football program, and got rid of the women's program. So, I called her up. I told her it's time to come on home. We recruited her 2 years back, and when once I saw that program was going, I made that call to her dad. I told her, tell my baby to come on back home. It's time to come. Mm-hmm. So she ended up coming back over to talk to her mom. Day before yesterday, said she absolutely loves it here at Southern.
Now you're talking about the new facilities that you have, man. Do you miss being right there and looking at that beautiful A.W. Mumford Stadium every day compared to where you're at now? What's your thoughts with the facilities and what you miss from the old facilities?
Oh, yeah, of course. The old facility, we had the best real estate on campus, Mr. Perry. So of course we missing that. We missing that vibe over there with the new old course, but definitely we got a beautiful facility that the university committed to, and still got some more commitment to do to finish up the facility. But it's heading in the right direction, and a beautiful site, beautiful logo, windscreens, beautiful colors. We just got to put some wins on that court. That's what is missing, some wins. And hopefully we'll get a lot of those. We got a pretty good stretch on the home season this season. So we're looking to build up some history over there.
Yeah, you leave from looking at A.W. Mumford Stadium. Now you get a chance to check out some of those softball games and watch some practices, right?
Most definitely. We saw the ladies out there today. They were hooping and hollering. They gave us a little energy over there. Sent that energy over to our way. Baseball, we got baseball on the other side. We just got to be dodging those baseballs and those softballs. Whenever those young ladies hit those home runs, we gotta duck a good little bit. So they hitting the ball. Coach was talking about how the hitting coaches, the girls are hitting those home runs. So I think we're gonna be having to dodge a little bit this year with them hitting those home runs. So, but that's a good thing though. We'll get to cheer them on, and they listen to the music and get hyped as well. We're in a good place right now. We're loving it. You've been able to check out, I'm sure, the Australian Open? I did. I got to watch a little bit. And, I was a little disappointed when Coco went out. And then Taylor Townsend, her double partner, went out. So I think my Australian Open days are over with to watch now. I'll wait till the win. Well, you guys on the women's side have a matchup at Tulane today. And then on Monday at 11 a.m., you'll be over at LSU. So if any of the Jaguar supporters in Baton Rouge want to get over there and support this tennis team on the women's side, you will be at LSU on Monday at 11 a.m., correct? We'll be at LSU Monday morning. We changed the time to 10 o'clock a.m. And in fact, we're not going over to Tulane this morning. It's going to be a little bit too cold for us. And so we rescheduled that match to the 26th of February. And so we'll be with LSU. They've got a wonderful program this year, strong program. And one of the new players that they brought in this year from Chicago, her parents went to Southern University. I got a chance to recruit her a little bit, watched her a little bit at some of the national tournaments. And so they I'm still going to call her Baby Jag when I see her on Monday. Well, Coach, thank you for the updates, letting us know the rescheduling of the game today at Tulane, and tennis and cold weather, man. Does it really go together? It does mix. Well, actually, they'll be all right. It's gonna be the coaches that'll be too cold. So let's go ahead and get that thing changed. Well, Coach Conyers, man, appreciate you coming on this morning, man, and talking about the program. And of course, you always welcome here, and you let me know if you ever need anything or any word to get out there to the people, man. We right here to be able to help you out. Yes, sir. I appreciate your time and having me on this morning. Yes, sir. If everybody out there listening, that's the voice of Coach Jeffrey Conyers. He is Championship Conyers, the head men and women's tennis coach over at Southern University. Let's get ready to take a break. We come back on the side. We'll talk some SWAC basketball. You guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The excitement is in the air. And then he's going to throw the football. Complete this one to Daniel Guy. Guy still on his feet. Guy's going to go in. Touchdown! Brian Reynolds will come in and attempt the PAT, which is up, and it is good. On the record books at Jackson State. This time, nothing doing, and here comes your man, DeMarcus Miller. Yeah. Miller led the club with 17 tackles for a loss as Reynolds will set up for the field goal attempt. This one will be from 20 yards out. He's 3 of 3 between 20 and 29 yards out. Kick is up, kick is good. So we've come to the end of the first quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up, kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good.
Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy, quarterbacking, throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, a scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's where it stands right now, 17-10. Southern is on top.
Passing leaders in the conference, Lionel Hayes from Grambling.
The excitement is in the air.
And again, he's going to throw the football. Completes this one to Daniel Guy. Guy still on his feet. Guy's going to go in. Touchdown! Brian Reynolds.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. Glad to have you guys with us as we continue to keep this show going. We're going to talk some SWAC women's basketball. And, of course, my man, Coach Carlos Funches, joined us this morning. He's the head women's basketball coach over at Southern University. Good morning, Coach Funches.
Good morning, Perry. How are you doing, sir?
Man, doing good, man. How about yourself?
Doing well. Can't complain. Just trying to get ready for these games.
Getting ready for these games. You're getting ready to hit the road today to go up to Alcorn, Lorman, Mississippi. You just came off the road from Jackson, Mississippi. But before then, let's go back to last Saturday at home. The University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff, the Golden Lions, UAPB women's basketball. They came into the arena over there across that hump, and guess what? You guys held it down. 80-65 was the final score, shooting 34-65. The Jaguars in this one for 52% around the field, 6-16 around the three-point line, shooting 38%, and 6 of 11 from the free throw line, shooting 55%. On the other side for UAPB women's basketball, they were 22 of 55, shooting 40%, 7 of 15 from the three-point line, shooting 47%, and 14 of 25 from the free throw line, shooting 56%. Coach, looking at this one, UAPB was chipping away. They were making it close, but at the end, the young ladies found a way to get it done. But this one might have been just a little too close for comfort at some points.
Yeah, I mean, they were going better. They came in and they played a great game. I thought they shot the ball exceptionally well. It's a good thing we scored 80 points. I mean, we needed every one of them. So I knew it was going to be a battle. And each and every night, you're going to have to be ready to go because anybody can catch fire and they can beat you. So, you know, we just got to keep doing what we're doing right now and try to play a little bit better defense. Keep teams off the free throw line. You know, that's been one of our Achilles heels. So we got to keep them off the line, and then we got to do a better job on the O board. So we're going to continue to try to improve in those areas and get better each week.
Now, Thursday, the weather thawed out a little bit. First, you went up to Jackson State up in Jackson, Mississippi. How was the weather up that way when you guys made it up there?
The weather was nice. Everything was good. Of course, it had a little chill in the air, but it wasn't too bad. We didn't have any snow or anything like that. So thank goodness we were able to get that game.
So was the fans, did they show up to this? I know they're not where they want to be in women's basketball. Did they show up?
They had a nice crowd there. Anytime the Southern Rose in town, it's going to be a nice crowd. They want to come and see J-State beat us. So they had a nice crowd. It was a good game day atmosphere. And, we did what we needed to do early, jumping on them and take them out of what they wanted to do and build a big lead.
Well, you say they wanted to come see J-State beat you. They're going to have to wait on that one because Southern got the victory 67-43. This time your defense was on full display. Didn't give up as many points as you did to UAPB, holding Jackson State to 43 points. But you guys, Southern University women's, shoot 23 of 48 for 48% around the field, 5 of 15 from the three-point line, shooting 33%, and 16 of 24 from the free throw line, shooting 67%. For Jackson State in this one, your defense was on full display. They shot 16 of 64 for 25% around the field, 3 of 18 from the three-point line for 17%, and 8 of 18 from the free throw line, shooting 44%. They out-rebounded us 40-34. But when you look at this, man, talk about your defense and how you were able to hold them to 25% shooting from the field in this one.
Well, we came out and we kind of took them out of what they wanted to do. They run a lot of ball screens and things like that, and we got up and denied them. And what we call ice the ball screen, kept it on one side of the court, made it tough for them to reverse the ball, and they had a hard time trying to get into their offense. The young ladies were locked in on our scouting report. We didn't give up. Didn't give up plays that they usually would give up, and they didn't score like they usually would do. So we did a great job in those areas. And we just got to stay locked in, and you got to know your personnel, KYP. So, that's a big thing that we've been stressing coming down the stretch is know the scouting report and know the personnel, and don't let them do what they do best.
Today's big game is a team you know all so well. You've seen them in the championship. You've seen them in the tournament, and you've seen them during the regular season. It's the Alcorn State Braves coming into today's game, hosting the Jaguars. They'll be 6-1 in conference play. You guys are 7-1 in conference play. The Braves are 5-1 on their home court, which is going to make it pretty tough today. But the Jaguars coming in ranked 4th in the SWAC in assists. Alcorn, ranks 9th in the SWAC in rebounds. When you look at Alcorn today in this Southern matchup, what do you see? Because these are two damn well good coach teams, one by you and one for Alcorn, but this is going to be a great one.
Well, you said it. You said it all. They're going to be well coached. They're going to have us scouted up, so they're going to know what we're trying to do, and we're still going to have to be able to do it regardless of how they play. I think they're going to play a little zone and try to mix it up and try to get us out of our man-to-man stuff. So we did a lot of work today. We only have one day to game prep for. Did a lot of prep work today, just working on that 1-3-1 zone, and they play some 1-2-2. And, of course, they will play some man defense. But Coach Kilbert does a great job over there, and they're going to be coached up. So we got to be locked in once again on our game plan on both ends, offensively and defensively. We're going to have to execute it.
On the women's side, Alcorn is 6-4 in their last 10 games, averaging 50 points, 29 rebounds, 11 assists, and 9.5 steals, while shooting 33% from the field and holding their opponents to an average of 55 points per game. Southern, on the other end, 7-3 in the last 10 games, averaging 65 points a game, 35 rebounds, 12 assists, 11.5 steals, while shooting 39% from the field and holding opponents to an average of 55 points. I'm looking forward to this matchup today, Coach, because, as I said, looking at these two teams, a lot of respect from them in Alcorn and Southern. Now let's look at the women's standing starting at the bottom. Prairie View at the bottom, 0-8 in conference play, 2-17 on the season. Bethune-Cookman, 1-7 in conference play, 3-18 on the season. Jackson State, who we just beat on Thursday night, 3-5 in conference play, 5-15 on the season. UAPB tied right there with Jackson State at 3-5 in conference play and 6-12 on the season, right above them. Mississippi Valley, 3-4 in conference play and 4-14 on the season. Grambling State, 3-3 in conference play, 6-13 on the season. Here we go. The Rattlers of Florida A&M and Texas Southern both tied at 4-4 in conference play. For FAMU, they're 5-14 on the season, and for Texas Southern, they're 8-12 on the season. Alabama State comes in at 5-3 in conference play and 8-11 overall on the season. They're 2 games out of first place. Alcorn State, today's opponent on the women's side, 6-1 in conference play and 9-9 overall on the season. They're half a game out of first place, and the 2 teams tied in first place on the women's side, Southern University and Alabama A&M. Alabama A&M at 7-1 in conference play, 11-9 overall, and Southern University 7-1 in conference play, 11-8 overall on the season, man. It's some tough teams. I mean, when you're starting to just look at everybody 3-3, 4-4, 5-3, 6-1, 7-1, there's not as many teams at the bottom as it used to be, where it seemed like the conference was kind of top heavy. This thing is kind of even all across the board this year.
Well, over the last couple of years, there's been a lot of parity in the league. So anybody can get you again any given night. So the next couple of weeks, you're going to start seeing some separation. So hopefully we'll be on that top side of that separation. We're going to get out. We're going to have to be ready to play, because traditionally over at Alcorn, it's been a really, really tough place to play and hard place to go get a victory. Now, they're going to be in there. They're going to be packed for both games. It's a doubleheader, so we need to go over there and represent. We're going to have a bus going over, a 6-man club is taking a bus, so we're going to need all the support possible.
For you, what do you say to your young ladies as you prepare them for a potential hostile environment and a tough place when you look at an opponent who was a rematch from last year's championship?
Well, just stay focused. Know your game plan. Don't get caught up in all the hoopla. Just focus on your game plan. You know, that's the main thing. And do what you practice doing. You know, do what you've been taught to do. And, again, know your personnel, know your scouting report, and do the things that you work on each and every day. And if you do those things, I mean, when the horn blows, look up at the scoreboard and see who wins.
Well, I appreciate you getting that win over UAPB, Coach. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I thank you for that.
You're very welcome. You're going to have bragging rights in the family, man. I hope your mom don't put you out when you go back home.
Well, she got a split. You know, you on the women's side, we got it. On the men's side, she said, what's going on with y'all on their side? So we'll find out with Coach Kevin Johnson here in a moment. But, Coach, thank you for coming on this morning, man. Hey, best of luck to you guys. I know you got it going into hostile territory today against Alcorn.
All right, thank you so much, Terry. We appreciate that support.
Yes, sir. That's the voice of Coach Carlos Funches. He is the head women's basketball coach over at Southern University. They're taking on Alcorn State today. Going to be a hell of a game. Let's get ready to take a break. We come back on the side. We'll talk some men's basketball and looking around the SWAC. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff. And the ball was dropped. And Tommy Head. Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And it's a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
pass.
It's
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable, Michael Hayes. Hayes now with 187 yards receiving, 169-yard touchdown, 181-yard touchdown.
And Southern's came up with all the big plays.
They lead by 14. And that one is intercepted by Darden. Darden looking for some room, and Guyon will finally drag him down. But we start the 4th right after this. 2nd down and 20 after the penalty.
Oh, he's got a man wide open.
Going into the corner. Touchdown! Reynolds attempting the point after. It's good. A 32-yard field goal. Kick is up.
kick is good.
This is a great football game.
We knew it would be, though. Torrey Thigpen got us out of our seats.
And this is the punt return by Torrey Thigpen. We were just talking about, we haven't seen him. He breaks 2 tackles and runs up the sideline. He has great blocking, but gets pushed out of bounds on about the 1 yard line.
And touchdown Jackson State.
The game is a game of momentum swings. Snap is good. The kick is up.
On driver. Yes, sir.
The ball up to the big receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out of bounds at the 10-yard line. An I formation. Oh! Fumble Levy. He kicks it and falls on top of it.
Touchdown. Receiver that has not seen much action comes up big.
1st and 10. Washington over the middle, intercepted. On his own play of the game is Michael Hayes with 8 receptions, 266 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
And that was
the
a
last
no-brainer.
one was unbelievable.
In the back of y'all, me and Doug about to go party with the rest of the people. All right, I see y'all.
And another interception. And there's Pete Richardson right there. Made the adjustments a couple of weeks ago against Grambling to beat Doug Williams' team. Makes the adjustments time in and time out.
All right, everybody, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. I'm Perry White, talking some SWAC basketball. Let's look on the men's side of things. And, of course, joining us here this morning, Coach Kevin Johnson, the head men's basketball coach over at Southern University. Good morning, Coach Johnson.
Good morning, Terry. Good to be here.
Hey, man, how is everything going? Is you staying warm?
You know what? There's no place better to be on a cold winter Saturday than inside watching some hoops, man. So let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Let's look back at last week, of course, on Saturday, hosting the Golden Lions of UAPB. This was a hard-fought one, man. Coach Bozeman and his team came down to Baton Rouge ready to play, and they walked away with a 1-point victory, 75-74. The Golden Lions and my mom get the bragging rights in this one. The Golden Lions shooting 23 of 51, shooting 45% around the field. They were 9 of 24 from the three-point line, shooting 38%, and they were 20 of 28 from the free throw line, shooting 71%. On the other side for the Jaguars, shooting 24 of 58 for 41% around the field, 6 of 27, Coach, from the three-point line, shooting 22%, and 20 of 26 from the free throw line, shooting 77%. You also out-rebound the Golden Lions 41-27. Came down to that final possession, man, and it was just tough to try to get one out over the Golden Lions.
You know, I really thought we had the right play there. Mike Jacobs got penetration. We always, we try to get paint touches, and he found Fowler Shody. And, Fowler was 5 for 14 on the night, and that one didn't go. But, I think the key, with that game, Perry, you said it earlier, Pine Bluff makes 9 threes, and their field goal percentage, they outshot us. And, we had a couple of guys, who normally are better behind the three. Joe Manning was 0 for 5, and A.J. Barnes was 0 for 6. And, it cost us that game. We lose by 1 point at home. But take nothing away from Pine Bluff. This is the best Pine Bluff team that I've seen in the SWAC.
Now, let's look over to, of course, we had winter weather affecting the region. The game against Mississippi Valley was initially supposed to be played on Monday, but then we moved it over to Wednesday. And a close game with Valley as they came in, only 1 win on the season, but you were able to get it done. 80-69, the final in this one. Mississippi Valley shooting 28 of 63 for 44% around the field. 8 of 24 from the three-point line, shooting 33% around the field, and 5 of 8 from the free throw line, shooting 63% on the other side for you. Your men's basketball team shooting 27 of 53 for 51% around the field, 2 of 12 from the three-point line, shooting 17%, and 24 of 29 from the free throw line, shooting 83%. Looking at this ball game, Coach, talk to us about this Southern and Mississippi Valley matchup. Valley made it a close one. A little bit, I say not close, but a little bit closer than a lot of fans said, hey, I'm glad we got this one done.
You know what, Perry, I say it all the time. When people come to play the Jags, boy, they make sure they bring their A game. And, we got to make sure that we're ready for them. But, I felt like our guys did a good job closing this game out in spite of not shooting that free ball well. We're a team that needs to make 8 threes in a game, to allow us to separate. But when you go 2 for 12 and you still win at home by 11, man, that means your defense was able to be good down the stretch and holding those guys to 69 points. So we're glad with the win, but there's still a lot of room for this team to improve, and that's where our focus has been, and we want to see some improvement here today against the Braves.
On the road against Alcorn State, Mike Jacobs scored 22 points in that 80-69 victory against Mississippi Valley. The Braves are only 1-1 in home games this season. Amazing. This just to be their third home game on the season. Listen, the Jaguars 4-3 against SWAC opponents. Southern is 1-2 in record games, in games decided by less than 4 points. Looking at today's matchup, Coach, Alcorn is 2-8 in their last 10 games. You're 4-6 in your last 10 games. Where are you looking at this matchup, and what do you see that the Braves could potentially cause problems for you today?
Well, I know Alcorn is going to be jacked up to play at home. This is only their third home game of the year, and they're coming off a tough Florida swing where they lost 2 close games. Probably should have beat FAMU and then made a heck of a comeback after being down 20 against Bethune to pull within 7. So I know they're going to be happy to be at home, and I expect a really good crowd because, when the Jaguars come to town, people come out. And we're going to have to play a great game to pull this one off. But had a couple of good practices on Thursday and Friday, and we're excited about another opportunity to show what we can do.
The Braves in their last 10 games averaging 66 points a game, 26 rebounds, 12 assists, 7.5 steals, and shooting 39% around the field. Southern shooting in their last 10 games averaging 71 points a game, 31 rebounds, 11 assists, 9.5 steals, as well as shooting 41% from around the field, holding your opponents to an average of 77 points. What are you looking for today, is more specifically out of your players in this hostile environment? Talking to Coach Funches, he said, man, they're going to make it rough on us over there. Yeah. So for you, what are you looking for in your players to make sure that they maintain composure and focus when you're talking about a gym that's very impressionable up at Alcorn State?
Yeah. Well, on the defensive side of the ball, I want to be able to get some stops, right? You got to be able to play defense on the road, especially if your offense doesn't travel. And and I want to look for our team to continue to grow in terms of execution. We got to make sure that ball is moving, we're getting paint touches, and we're getting the right shots. And I think if we get the right shots, I think those shooting percentages go up. But that's what I'm looking for today. And if we can take care of that, we should come out with a victory.
What are we looking at in terms of injury report today? Are we returning anybody out today?
Well, it was nice to have P.J. DeVoe back in the Valley game. He was able to play at the top of the press where he was so effective for us last year. And Cam Ambry is a game-time decision, but hopefully we can get him back in the fold today.
Other games around the SWAC, Texas Southern taking on Prairie View today on the men's side at 4:30. Bethune-Cookman, Alabama State. Today tip-off at Bama State, 3 o'clock. Grambling and Jackson State tip-off, 3 o'clock. Florida A&M and Alabama A&M tip-off at 4 o'clock today on the men's side. And UAPB versus Mississippi Valley tip-off today at 5 o'clock. And Southern University tips off against Alcorn State at 3 o'clock today. Be sure to get up that way if you're available and free today. I know the 6-man club is taking a bus up there to help support you guys today, Coach, and get some of those, what they say, blue and gold pom-poms shaking in it, so we ain't got to see so much of that purple.
Look, Perry, but look, it's no place better to be on a Saturday in that gym watching some ball and with the women tipping off at 1. We want all of Jaguar Nation. Look, come early, stay late, wear that blue and gold, and get on those darn referees.
Coach, I try to do my best, man, when I'm at the games to get on them. Like I told the ref last week, I said, oh, man, it looked like he was an older guy. I said, man, look like your eyes work a little bit. But I know you on them tough when you're looking for calls, especially travels and everything else. Man, is there a fine line when you have to ride a ref on the basketball side of things as a head coach?
Well, you can't call them any names, and you don't want to disrespect them. And I think what you'll find today, most of those guys, they'll communicate with you. And, even though they miss, we all make mistakes, but I just don't like those critical ones, at critical times during the game. But one of the things I like about the referees today is that they do a better job of communicating than they did, say, 10, 15 years ago.
Or they didn't want to talk to you?
A little bit.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you coming on this morning, man. Good luck to you guys today. Of course, I know you got it as we take on Alcorn State. Coach, bring home that victory for us.
Look, always a pleasure, Perry. Go Jags.
Go Jags. All right, everybody, that's the voice of Coach Kevin Johnson. He is the head men's basketball coach over at Southern University. Let's get ready to take a break. We come back at the top of the hour. We'll talk about some local football and recruiting is coming up. We're talking about the recruiting bash at Southern University next week is going to be Wednesday at TJ Ribs. You get a chance to be out with all the coaches and National Signing Day as well on the 4th. So we're going to have an opportunity to talk about that. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back. More of the Jaguar Journal.
Marching band from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. The Southern University marching band is led by drum major Lewis Primetime Broadway Jr. Show him some love. The human jukebox will now take you through a precision drill under the sound of the The SU band will now do the midfield drill to the 2. Lovely. Put your hands together for the fabulous dancing dolls as they jam to the
he's going to throw the football. Complete just when the game go guy stood on his feet,
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. Glad to have you guys with us. It is the top of the hour. I'm Perry White. Good morning to everybody listening on Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge, capital city area, and everybody out there watching on our Facebook and YouTube Live this morning. Glad to have you guys with us. Be sure, of course, housekeeping. Keep up with the Jaguar Journal across all social media. We're on Facebook. We're on X. We're on Instagram, TikTok, all right, Twitch TV, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and go subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's how you keep up with the Jaguar Journal. If you just want to listen to us on radio, of course, across the Baton Rouge capital city area on Talk 107.3 FM. All right, let's get ready to get into some football. National Signing Day is coming up this week on Wednesday. Of course, Southern is going to have their recruiting bash over at TJ Ribs. We're going to get an opportunity to talk about some recruits. And then, oftentimes when we talk about football now on the collegiate side, we're so entrenched into the transfer portal, seems like we forget about the high school kids. And that has been talked about all across the nation as high school students, the student athletes are now getting overlooked for the more mature, I guess, as you could say, experienced guys out of the transfer portal. And today with me to talk about some talent here, because I hear it all the time. Southern don't be recruiting the local areas. Do they know about it? Well, we're going to talk about local talent today. And he's here in the studio joining me today, my man, Justin Ricard.
Now, why would you call my government name like that?
Just go with it. That's your
why would
Justin
you do that?
Ricard. Hey, known with J.K. Lee Sports. You wasn't ready for me to say your real name?
Yeah. You caught me off guard with that,
well,
bro.
My name Perry White. It's okay, Justin Ricard.
Yeah,
it's all right.
Your brand is actually named after your real name. Well, my name is J.K. Lee Sports.
Well, J.K. Lee Sports, but the man behind it is Justin Ricard. I just want y'all to understand and know that. So if that name sounds familiar, he's a Southern Lab guy through and through. He loves his kittens. Okay,
I'm a Jaguar too.
Look, he don't know how to act. So y'all just bear with me today. I'm trying to civilize him in the studio today, but he's gonna do a great job because he has really grown in his profession in terms of what he does with J.K. Lee Sports. You cover high school talent across the region, not just Baton Rouge, but you do a really great job at going out, watching these games, creating highlights, as well as having interviews with these players. And a lot of these players, most of the time, you're the first person they probably have ever talked to on the camera. So before we get into all of that, J.K. Lee Sports, man, what was the thought of you getting into that and starting that?
Well, I was before J.K. Lee Sports, man. I was just a guy going to all the high school games.
Mm-hmm.
And, I give Precious Collins a shout out all the time. This was all her idea. She came up with the idea. She said, man, look, since you're there, you have the opportunity to do something that at the time wasn't really being done in Baton Rouge. A lot of the media guys, they were coming from other places and coming into Baton Rouge covering high school football and high school sports all together.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, man, you got a chance to do this. And she made me go create the Twitter and the Instagram. And then it just took off from there, man. Ended up, with the show and all the other stuff that we're doing. So it actually came fast. It came faster than I was prepared for. But it came fast. But I've been enjoying every second of it, though.
Baton Rouge, when I moved here, of course, you hear about the countless talent of guys that have played around in high school sports here and a lot of guys that have gone off to play college sports. But as you said, a lot of times you don't get a chance to see those guys if they're not on the mainstream media. And most of the time, the mainstream media don't necessarily follow the individuals. They follow in the programs that are winning. So what I've learned as a football official here, don't get caught up into a lot of these teams when you just looking at the records and say, man, that team ain't good. I've seen a lot of teams around in this area with 3 wins, 4 wins total on the season, but 1 or 2 guys that are studs that can get overlooked if you're just looking at team success. This area produces a lot of talent, not just the Baton Rouge area, but the entire South Louisiana. When you talk about the river parishes, getting into New Orleans and all the way back here into Baton Rouge. But what you have done is created an opportunity to go out and see this talent and talk to the talent. Now, when you first started, what was it like for you? Was you getting pushed back from schools, or what was the landscape like seeing a new face like yourself coming in and then covering it the way that you were doing that other folks may not have been normally used to?
Like, of course I got pushed back. I was what they call non-traditional media.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't, 5 years ago, they didn't know what this was going to be at this point in 2025, because I started in 2020. They didn't understand what I was doing. What you mean you covering sports? That's for the news in the newspaper. And all it took was for me to be able to build relationships. Well, not really build them. I already had relationships. I brought up Precious Collins, Ricky Collins' mom. So, I interviewed him a few times. So when people started to see exactly what I was doing, man, it became easy. So now it's absolutely no pushback, like nowhere. I can pretty much go anywhere, put a call in to a coach or athletic director, and I'm in there. But it wasn't always like that. So I guess it's very impressive for me to be, for us, because me and my team to be independent and be able to still be able to be on the sidelines with a lot of guys that are actually doing this full time. You know what I mean?
Talk about your team and the guys that work with you to make this successful with J.K. Lee Sports.
Oh, well, you already know one of them, Chris Barber. Shout out Barbershots. Been with me day one. When I first had the idea, he was like, yeah, man, we could do that. And you actually gave me flack saying I was trying to steal him from your
Well, you could have at least asked and be like, hey, man, But Chris, he a freelancer. He free to do whatever he want to do.
Look, he moving everywhere.
Yeah, he's still my dog. We still work together.
Yeah, he's still on the yard. He's still working with the jukebox. And he works with. But I've been knowing this since kindergarten. And my guy Brandon Landry, Say B Productions, he came along afterwards. But man, we put in a lot of work together. Especially on the podcast. It's a lot of work being able to do that, and having those two guys. Like I don't even know where I would be without them. As much work as they put in and how they concentrate on what we're doing, I can always depend on them. And sometimes it be last minute. My railroad schedule. Everything isn't always planned a month in advance. So sometimes I got to shoot a text. Hey, bro, I'm off tomorrow now. Can we go here? And man, I'm telling you, 97% of the time, one of them they become available. Even if they had plans, they'll move them. So shout out to my brothers, man.
So for people out there that don't know, you are also a train engineer.
Yes.
So you're managing your time to go around the region to get talent, along with, as we know, is a very busy and unpredictable schedule when it comes to being a train engineer.
Yeah, man, 17 years, man. Still enjoying it.
You got some seniority here. Yeah.
Man, what you know about seniority, man?
I know what's going on the railroad, man.
Yeah, I got it. As a younger guy, I'm able to work the jobs because of my seniority with a lot of older guys. So we working 6 on 3 off. So for those 3 days, it's J.K. Lee Sports.
Yeah.
Where we going with, if I have to go to a practice or we meeting up to shoot a podcast show, whatever we got to do in them 3 days. And I tell you what, Barber and B, they are extremely patient with it. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how many people would be able to understand that part of it, But man, they fought, they support it. Hey man, we know you got to go to work. If you got to go to work today, we'll go to the game, So it works great, man.
So when you driving the train, man, do your mind be thinking about how can you grow J.K. Lee? Because I know my partner that drive for Union Pacific, he said, man, it's a difference driving that train because it's smooth, it's just straightforward. You ain't stopping at lights and this and that. You stop at signals and you wait. But other than that, you just going. So I can imagine just going. You can have a lot of stuff going through your mind as you're driving that train and just thinking and trying to grow. Figure out how can you grow and take this thing to the next level. It's a lot of time, as they say, you see God's country, because a lot of places out there, man, it's nothing. So it's nothing but good opportunity to think.
Well, see, it actually can backfire on it, because I actually got in trouble a couple of years ago because when we stopped for like 4 or 5 hours, and I didn't lock in. When we got our authority, when we got our signal, I didn't lock in. So while we stopped, I'm doing J.K. Lee Sports. I'm taking care of the Boo Boys. Shout out to the Boo Boys. I'm doing that. I'm talking to Chris and B about what games we're going to when I get back. I was going on my 3 off. So I'm like, look, when I get back in town, I got 72 hours off. So what we going to do? So we get the signal and I lose situational awareness is what it said in my discipline. I lost situational awareness.
It took you too long to get the train rolling?
Nah, I got outside by well, what happened was I was working with a new conductor and he gave up some authority behind us that we were still in. And I didn't double check behind him like I should have, like I've done every time, And I didn't check behind him because, like I said, I wasn't locked in. I was thinking about with the media thing. So since then, it was I've been out there a long time, a lot of seniority. I got job insurance, so I did a little 30-day decertification, but kept my money coming in. Bills kept getting paid, so it was fine. But it was a learning experience for me that when them people come on that radio and they say, "Hey man, it's time to do this," I tell myself every time, lock in.
And that's why, I brought that up because you're balancing that, as you say, being an independent media along with your profession. And along with that, also, you talk about the boot boys. Talk about the boot boys because you're managing a lot of things at the same time, trying to stay locked in as you're talking about.
So the boot boys is our 7-on-7 organization. My top team is Boot Boys SWAC. Coach Hansoni Highland, he's the head coach of that team. He's the offensive coordinator at Plaquemine, doing his day job. And, man, we just focus on giving kids exposure. We attach the media platform directly to the Boot Boys. If you see it, is on my shirt, on my sweatshirt. We attach it, and we believe that we actually witnessed it give opportunities. Right? And what I explain to people, I'm not gonna sit here and tell no parent your child gonna get an offer. Like these days of transfer portal, I'm not gonna make it that promise. They will get an opportunity. So I don't know what the opportunity may not be a direct offer. It may be a media guy in Dallas or Atlanta or Orlando or LA, or, places like that with a larger following that can see your child on my platform because I know him. And then that guy can make a phone call for a scholarship offer. So it's all about trying to give them exposure and opportunities, man. We enjoy it.
And what's the age range with the Boot Boys when you guys go out and compete?
So this year, that's another thing. Because of the way we're approaching it, man, we minimized it to one 18U team. Just like Cam Newton C1N, just one national 18U team. We're going to leave out of the state 3 times this season. Going to national tournament. Every tournament we play in is a national platform. Like we don't do local. Not to disrespect nobody. But.
Yeah, because last week I did over at F3 Elite and had an opportunity to do that tournament, man, and see some talent from Mississippi to Lafayette and Alexandria and this whole region, man. And that was from 10U all the way up. So, you got a chance to see the little guys get it in, man. And it's amazing when you see them little guys putting in work
and
out
there. And they be good, man.
And you can tell, I remember being that age, man, it was just raw what it is. But they watch so much now. They are easily mimicking the big boys. So it's like watching. It wasn't always like that back in the day. It was just you went through the motion of developer being taught. But you can tell, man, these kids are watching YouTube and everything else, man, because they mimic everything that they see.
Well, look, 12U to me is my favorite division. And we've never had a 12U team. But the 12U teams normally play their championships right before the high school division start playoffs on Sunday. I get there 2 hours early and watch the play. Because it's insane. Like with the parents and the atmosphere, like they yelling and screaming. I was like, man, I remember back when I used to play travel ball and they walk in, man, they got their banners and they
got swag,
got their jackets on.
Yeah, it's new. Back in the day, you just got what you got. Now you like, oh, they got a little money. I see the swag. Everybody got everything that they need, man. It's a different world of what I see now compared to it just seem like, as they say, the kids are a little bit more better well off. It seemed like from.
Well, I think it all depends on, it all goes into the region. Because when I was growing up in Baton Rouge and we were playing, you guys, boy, we had warm-up suits, jackets, matching tennis shoes. My daddy went out there and
y'all had money.
Yeah, my daddy went out there and found a deal with Converse at the time.
Oh, man, come on, man.
So we was wearing Converse.
Everybody
shout out to Coach
that.
Kenny, man. So, like, we had all of that. So, and, like, a lot of stuff that I learned from my dad, I don't know if people did Jaguar Journal. My dad, 7 West with the megaphone.
Come on, Jaguar. Hey, let's make it go, Jaguar. Hey. What you doing down there, Coach? Yeah,
it's my dad, and I learned a lot from him in running the organization. And I take 90% of my advice. The 90% of the advice that I actually listen to comes from him. Because he was able to do it at a time when, like, we were videotaping with the VHS, videotaping all of our basketball games when we were 10.
Yeah, you were ahead of the curve, man. We wasn't doing none of that. All you got from my days is a trophy that's just around. But other than that, man, there's some pictures. But let's get ready to do this. We got to take a break, pay some bills. We come back on the side. We're going to dive deeper now into some talent that's around here, see what some offers and see more in particular what is Southern doing as well as some other schools here in the region. So you guys stay tuned. We'll be back more to Jaguar Journal.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White. And what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
For the first time in the 79-year history of the Southwestern Athletic Conference Elite Championship game determines the overall champion today. Live from Legion Field in Birmingham, Alabama, it's the champions of the East, Jackson State, taking on Southern, the champs from the West. Hello, everybody. George Johnson along with Charles Mann. And I got to tell you, a great poet once said this is the way it's supposed to be. And it is. Number 11 Southern taking on number 15 Jackson State. Both programs have won 3 SWAC titles over the decade. So it's only fitting in the first SWAC championship game we determine the program of the decade. We've got a lot of offense out on the field. And yet this guy right here, he's going to tell you this game's all about D.
It's always all about D, George. You know that. They're always all about
an
D.
all-pro defensive end is going to tell you that. When you think about Jackson State, this is a team that is very potent offensively, but defensively, they've led the SWAC throughout most of the year. They've got the best player in defense in the SWAC, and that's Tommy Head.
Tommy Head. Get used to saying that name. You'll say it all day. He'll be all over the field. He's always around the football. He's the leading tackler on this team. He also has 5.5 sacks.
At one point this year, Southern led the nation in scoring defense. Then they ran into Florida A&M. They've got a lot of guys out there that can get it done. But at the top of the list is DeMarcus Miller.
DeMarcus Miller, the linebacker coach, Terrence Graves, told me there's one word to describe this kid, and that is relentless. He's only 5'10", 285 pounds. He makes a lot of plays, though.
Relentless, appropriate word for our third member of the broadcast team, and that's Joe Claire, who's standing by down on the sideline. Joe?
Yes, indeed. I'm down here on the field capturing all the pageantry and revelry that is black college football. Birmingham, Alabama is a lovely city. This is the inaugural SWAC championship in their city, so they came out to have a good time. I will be covering the bands, the cheerleaders, shout-outs, all of that kind of stuff. Back to you guys up top.
All right, thank you very much, Joe. You know, earlier this year, Southern beat Jackson State, their 4th straight win over the Tigers. But what's most impressive about Southern, they haven't lost a conference game in 25 outings. They put it on the line against Jackson State.
We look at the starting lineups brought to you by Western Union Money Transfer, the fastest way to send money worldwide. You saw the backs. Here's your offensive line. Damon Nivens is a first-team All-SWAC member. Defensively, there's your starting lineups for Jackson State's defense. Chandler, Tommy Head, Edward Reese, pretty good middle linebacker. Rashard Anderson is a professional prospect, and they say he will be in the NFL next year. It is your starting lineup, brought to you by Western Union. Mark Washington is your quarterback, Destiny Wright, the all-time.
All right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Good morning to everybody listening and on Talk 107.3 across the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching on our Facebook and YouTube live. Good morning. Got my man Justin Ricard here.
Don't do it to me again.
I'm Perry White. He's Justin Ricard. Got my man Mike on the board. J.K. Lee Sports representing here today. Man, we're talking about local talent. You with J.K. Lee Sports, that's your baby. That's what you started as an independent media. But now, as we get into, we got the backstory, how you got there and how you balance it. And I wanted people to know that because there's a lot on your plate when you're talking about making this happen. Now, as you're making it happen, you've been able to go out and watch talent grow up, go off to college. Not only that, you've interviewed them, you've created highlights. You've done a lot for this region when it comes to the guys that can play some ball, but not necessarily on these championship caliber teams. But I said, being an official here, I see a lot of talent, you know, be 1 or 2 guys on the team that only won 3 or 4 games. And you like, man, where's that kid going? Because he stands out. And I ask that a lot around here, like, who is that kid?
Right.
And so for you, you're the guy that goes out and tell us who's that kid. So let's start right here looking in Baton Rouge, man. What are some of the top talent right now that you've seen? It don't matter where they're going, just top talent, period, right now in this region.
I mean, top talent, I tell everybody all the time, I guess I may be biased because he's a boo boy, but John Walker at Plaquemine is absolutely phenomenal. UL has offered already, and of course, Grambling has offered. I really, really want the Southern coaching staff to take a real close look at him. He's a 6'2" guy, can play wide receiver and defensive back. He's a two-way guy, returns punts, kicks. He's a jet sweep guy, so you at 6'2", he's still their jet sweep guy. You know that jet sweep you love to run.
So he must have a stride on him.
Yeah, he can have, and he quick. He can stop and start. You know, one of my favorite guys, and I'm kind of waiting on. I really want Southern to offer him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people been calling. You know, Nickel's gonna do they duty, and so that's one of my favorite football players in the city. But you didn't get no Plaquemine game, so you hadn't seen him yet.
Uh-uh.
Okay, you got to get a Plaquemine game so you can check him out.
It's whatever they assign.
Yeah, I know it. Another guy is Corbin Odell, the U-High running back, 1,000-yard rushing, 11 as a junior last season. He boot boy. Grambling is offered. Tried it. Another guy that I wish that really needs that extra push as far as when it comes to exposure. He's a guy kind of reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew.
Mm-hmm.
That's who I compare him
for Jacksonville.
Yeah. But the guy that destroyed fantasy football, like when fantasy football first started, like he shut Yahoo fantasy football down. Like they had an error because they had never seen nothing like that. Mm-hmm. He kind of reminds me of him, a great athlete, smart, 3.0. 3.0 better guy. He can really play. Not another, I guess I'm starting off with Boo, but Jerry Biley, this SU Lab quarterback that has signed in this at Delaware State. Hell of a football player, state championship. A guy, I think his junior season over close to 4,000 total yards. Crazy athletic, and we left Dallas last year, and Deshaun Jackson offered him, and he actually got a chance to talk to one of his favorite NFL football players on the phone. So real happy for Jay, but he was a guy that runs the quarter in track. Mm-hmm. Great athlete. Kingston Johnson is a guy he doesn't live here anymore, but to me, he's still a Baton Rouge guy. He moved to Mississippi last August. Mm-hmm. The Live Oak quarterback. He moved to Starkville. He has a few offers: Southern Miss, Tulane, Mississippi Valley, Murray State, and check this out, Jackson State offering. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that I think Southern needs to take a look at. To me, kind of like a Kyler Murray. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. What I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Kind of on the short side, but extremely explosive. Cannon for a baseball player, just like Kyler Murray, a baseball player could ride back and he could flick his wrist in this 65 yard. He real crazy. Matter of fact, he had a game last year where he threw for like 700 yards in one game. It was something crazy like that. Like he broke Mississippi records. Like it was insane what he did last season. I'm a huge fan of his. Boo boy, Now we getting into guys that this is a 2027 guy. He actually plays for, I think he may be playing for F3 this year. Ashton Stark at Lutcher. He has offers from Arkansas. Arkansas offered him the other day. Troy State and Grambling. Mm-hmm. Man, kind of a guy, maybe 5'8", 5'9", super explosive though, man. I'm talking super explosive. And then they do that thing where they put him in Wildcat, mm-hmm. where he just takes off running from everybody on the field. Great athlete, man. Ashton Stark actually had a chance to interview him. He was a little nervous at first, but he got real, relaxed. Great athlete, man. Definitely another guy that needs to pop on 2027, so they don't have to rush. And I get the recruiting process, new coaching staff. Mm-hmm. So, with the transfer portal and all of those national resources that Coach Falk and his staff is bucking, that's not. I don't think we've ever seen a coaching staff at Southern have that kind of coast-to-coast command that they have. Mm-hmm. So I can kind of understand why but they need to get on Ashton Stark. He's another great guy. Isaiah Stokes is a 2026 guy, but when I talked to him the last time, he hadn't made any decisions yet. He has offers from Howard, Stephen F. Austin, Eastern Kentucky, Jackson State, UNLV, UL Monroe, which he decommitted from, and McNeese. Mm-hmm. But he has I think his McNeese visit is coming up. And it was real funny. I asked him in the middle of the season, had he heard from Southern? He was like, I heard.
Well, now what does he play?
Defense end, outside linebacker, like they stand up rushing. Mm-hmm. He can actually play. He can play a lot of on ball, but he can play off ball too. I actually saw him at strong safety. Coach Beard do all kind of stuff with all that talent at Zachary. Mm-hmm. So he really great player. Another guy I want to bring up is Cannon Walker. He's actually on his visit to Kentucky State this weekend. Masson Prep, all district guy, 2 or 3 years in a row. Middle linebacker, and when I say middle linebacker, I don't know if you be at the game. How many real linebackers do you see in Louisiana?
It depends. These linebackers are now hybrids now.
Yeah, it's a lot of
so it's not stocky. It's more like lean, quick, because you're chasing quarterbacks now.
Right.
So it ain't the plug the gap running back days. Is you saw even with Alabama, Nick Saban said I can't have them big thick neck linebackers no more. I need these hybrid guys. Because Johnny Manziel running all over the place.
Killed them people. Twice. But yeah, Cannon Walker, to me, is one of those kind of...
He's the old school Bill linebacker. He's not the hybrid linebackers that we're seeing these days.
Yeah, he can... now look, does well in his pass protection. That's why he came and played 707 for us last year, because that was something that his dad saw that he needed to work on. And he was able to, backpedal and stuff like and work and hips. You got to be able to stop and start.
Yeah.
And man, hell of an athlete. He's at Kentucky State this weekend. And man, I couldn't be more proud of him because, for a long time, the recruiting process was a little frustrating. And his dad had the plan mapped out. So shout out to his dad. When that portal closed, a lot of opportunities opened up to him, and he's a magnificent player. He's a guy that's going to do everything you ask him to do. That's my boy. You can see how I'm talking about it.
No doubt about it.
That's my boy. But who else I got on? I got Christian Brooks, a top guy in the 2026 class, signed with UL. He had offers from Pittsburgh, Arkansas State, Louisiana Tech, and Grambling. Jarvis Washington committed to South Alabama, 6'5" receiver. Great athlete, man. Of course, the one thing that
6'5", is he lean?
He's lean.
He's not the big physical receiver. Okay.
Like he going to get not a thing that he improved on a lot. And I feel comfortable saying this because this is a discussion that we had. That's my boy too. Route running, but him being able to go to Dunham and play with Elijah Haven, the number one ranked player in the country in his class. I guess we need to talk about Elijah Haven, but he was able to go there with Elijah Haven, and man, his route running and the knowledge on reading coverages. Like I've watched him mature so much in 2.5 seasons. It's remarkable. Like he is locked in. And he's training all the time. Every time I see him, he got his cleats in his hand. He's actually my neighbor, so I see him a lot. And man, I just thoroughly impressed with the young man that he has become in high. He was able to lock in, pick a goal, and achieve it, man. It was something special, man.
Let's get ready to do this. Let's take a break, and we come back on the other side. We'll look around because guess what? Louisiana is full of colleges on the Division I side, FCS and FBS. So there's a lot of talent to be recruited. So we talk about these recruiting battles. It can get tough of schools just within the state of Louisiana that's pulling guys to try to get them, including on the FCS side. So let's take a break, and we'll come back. We'll talk more about it here on the Jaguar Journal.
The excitement is in the air.
Then he's going to throw the football. Completes this one to Daniel Guy. Guy's still on his feet. Guy's going to go in. Touchdown! Brian Reynolds will come in and attempts a PAT, which is up, and it is good. On the record books at Jackson State. This time, nothing doing, and here comes your man, DeMarcus Miller.
Yeah.
Miller led the club with 17 tackles for a loss, as Reynolds will set up for the field goal attempt. This one will be from 20 yards out. He's 3 of 3 between 20 and 29 yards out. Kick is up. Kick is good. So we've come to the end of the first quarter with Jackson State leading 10-3. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. And every time you think Southern struggles, they come back, they make a play. They've done it all year long. Kick is up. Kick is good. Second down and a yard to go. Again, they give it to Lewis. Lewis finds room. Lewis still on his feet. Lewis making a move to the outside. He's inside the 25, the 10, the 5. What a run by Ryan Lewis. 69-yard run for Ryan Lewis. And how about this? Kicks up, kicks good.
Halftime, George Johnson along with Charles Mann. Southern trailed in this football game 10-7. Then they reel off 14 straight points, and they do it with the big plays.
And that's something that we didn't think would happen, at least from Southern's perspective. They've been able to methodically go down the field on people and win ball games, not the big plays. You saw the big play by Ryan Lewis running 69 yards, the nice throw by Terrence Levy. This is something that I don't think Jackson State thought they would see in Southern either, and they go into halftime down by 7 points.
Jackson State came in the best defense out of the SWAC. And if you take a look at the highlights, you will see that this club, and I'm talking about Southern, was really able to capitalize on a couple of miscues, and the big plays are the result of it.
And this is Daniel Guy with a nice stiff arm to Bradley Pittman there. And he runs that ball 36 yards inside for a touchdown, makes it 7-3. And then Terrence Levy quarterbacking throws a big bomb to Michael Hayes, who gets by Rashard Anderson and waltzes into the end zone for a 69-yard reception. And then the big run by Ryan Lewis, a scat back for Southern, races 69 yards for the score. And that's
all right, everybody, we're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. I'm Perry White. Glad to have you guys with us. Good morning to everybody listening on Talk 107.3 across the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching on our YouTube and Facebook Live. Got Justin Ricard here in the studio this morning.
Three strikes you out.
JK Lee Sports. I want the people to know who is the man behind the plan, man. Which you running from somebody?
No, it's just the fact that if the platform is my name, JK Lee Sports, them people, they can't Google Justin Ricard. They're gonna find about 5 of us.
But somebody may want to cut a check. When they put a cut a check, it's got to say so you can show your ID.
So they got it, but they gonna come to me on JK Lee Sports, and then I can tell them my real name to write the check.
His real name is Justin Ricard. I don't know why he acting like he got a problem with it. Let's jump right into it, because what y'all don't know is he and I don't know what it is. He don't like Pine Bluff. He's a hater.
No, don't start that.
I'm not gonna start it. I'm poking.
I don't have a problem with Pine Bluff.
Mm-hmm.
You walked in on a conversation talking about both of our partners, and you overheard something.
I thought you was hating.
That's my boy, though.
I thought you was hating.
Man, anybody he'll tell you he my boy.
But anybody, if you ever see us together for some reason, I don't know why it goes somewhere else.
You gotta argue with me.
I don't know what be going on, but it's like a little rivalry thing. I don't know what this is, but it's on site every time.
It's always a discussion point, bro.
It is. It's on site every time. And as they say in court, he will badger a witness if you let him. He will take it to the extreme. So you better be ready when Justin Ricard come around. All right. So he better spit his water out. He wasn't ready for that one. Let's talk about talent, because in the state of Louisiana, on the FBS side, you got LSU, UL, Louisiana Tech, ULM, Tulane. Tulane has seen success right now. LSU teetering there because they're the big program of the state. UL has seen success. Now you look over on the FCS side, you got Grambling State, you got Southern University, Northwestern State, McNeese State, Nichols, and Southeastern. That's a ton of D1 schools right here in the state of Louisiana that's pulling for talent. More particularly the FCS side. The schools on the FCS that represent in the Southland Conference, the McNeese, the Southeastern, the Nichols, and Northwestern State, they tend to find talent in this state that sometimes people feel should have went to Southern or Grambling. And when we typically play them with that talent, I can remember getting at Nichols State with their coach who had just retired. He did a great job of getting guys out of the river parishes. Mm-hmm. But when you look at those schools, man, what has always been something for you when you look at how they recruit compared to, let's just use Southern in this case?
Well, I think it's all about the longevity of recruiting, like actually recruiting and having a plan to what you're recruiting. I think a lot of times when you start talking HBCUs in particular, it's so much attrition on the coaching staff, you know, so there never a lot of the time to even come up with a plan and see it work. Now, of course, I'm with everybody else. If you ain't winning, you got to go.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But I think when you brought a Rebo, that's a tenured guy, and he was able to come up with a plan, and that plan is still working to this day. And I'm really impressed with the Southeastern coaching staff. Like, they have a plan, and they're coming in, and they're able to recruit.
Southeastern made the FCS playoffs last year. Yep. Nichols before won the conference in the Southland. The only team that seemed like had not really been able to get over that hump is Northwestern State. McNeese State has seemed to be down as well, but you can get them like a middle of the pack. They're not the McNeese State, the powerhouse of FCS or D1AA that they were. But when you look at that, let's look at some of the guys of talent that's in the area, because I hear it all the time. Southern don't recruit this area, but there's a ton of talent that does get recruited from FCS programs in the region. Southern does take a look at a lot of guys, but for you, what are some of the guys that are out here that may not be LSU good, but hey, you can say these guys can make an impact on the FCS side?
Well, Zakari Hogan, that's my guy.
Now you got to tell me position and where they at.
Cornerback, he's at Zachary. He's a 2026 guy. He's actually committed to McNeese.
Okay.
but his dad is a Southern University diehard, like how you are, and my dad, and all y'all Jaguar people. But I knew it was coming. Look, I said that on purpose to get a reaction from him. I love the Jags, but he's a guy to me that Southern needs to pull a trigger on, and and look, let's put everything into perspective.
Please do.
Because everything is a perspective.
Yeah.
This is a new coaching staff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that goes back to that conversation about letting their plan actually work. So I don't think it's a situation where anyone should be upset about it, but I know he could play at Southern. I definitely think he's a versatile guy that can get on the field. And then, man, that work ethic. One of the hardest working kids I've ever met. Like, he's one of those guys with that old school stuff where he trains every day. He doesn't have a off day or a rest day. And I think he's a guy that could really step in, especially on specialty, because he had punt blocks last year.
Mm-hmm.
He never left the field if Zachary didn't have the ball. So he did everything else. He returned punts and kicks, of course, but like he was on punt coverage. Punt block, field goal. He blocked a few field goals. Like, he's an immediate impact guy that I would like to see play for Southern. I brought up Isaiah Stokes and Cannon earlier. Those are guys that haven't signed yet that I think could be immediate impact guys. Mm-hmm. But again, it's all about perspective, because we don't know. I'm not you more connected to me. I don't know what Southern's needs are.
Mm-hmm.
So
the needs are across the board. You saw Southern last year, shit.
but you don't think that some of those needs been filled, man? I think so.
I mean, we'll find out Wednesday. At the recruiting bash when Coach Falk and his staff get a chance. But what I'm speaking in terms of has always been a long-term conversation that people have said. I hear it with call-ins here on this show. I hear when I'm out and about at games, and I'm here when people walk up and talk to me. Regardless of this coaching staff or not, it's Southern. Yes, and when they say Southern, you're saying it here, there is talent that will go to McNeese and Nichols, and then when we go play that talent, they'll beat us by 40 points.
Well, and what trips me out is that I'm going to tell you, I'm going to put a percentage on it, and maybe somebody else who does recruiting could, kind of, if they want to have a discussion about it, I'm going to tell you, 68 to 70% of the players that go to Nichols and those other FCS schools that don't choose Southern or even Grambling. Well, I can't put Grambling in because Grambling recruits. They recruit. But when it comes to Southern, I'm going to tell you I'm going to say 68% of those guys were never recruited by Southern for whatever reason that is. For whatever reason, I don't know, why the phone call didn't happen. I don't understand it. I don't know.
And like, the thing is,
I always bring up Micah Davis.
And you get the chance to be out there because you're talking to these guys. You say, hey, man, what offers do you have? You get a chance. So it ain't like you just sitting in the stands making this up. You are right there talking to these kids, not only in the interview, but the sidebar conversation.
Well, like Micah Davis. I bring up Micah Davis every time because that's a conversation that I had with his mom. Now, I didn't talk to Rohan Davis. Mm-hmm. I didn't talk to Road directly, but I could see that he was a little frustrated. And Southern told him all they can come up with was a PWO. Now he at UTEP and led the now he started at McNeese.
He was at McNeese.
He started at McNeese, went crazy, did his thing, led the country, the FCS country in tackles. Then he shoots to UTEP and does the same thing, another 100 tackle season. Oh, and he's going to get an NFL shot. So I don't know, I don't understand. Sometimes you could overlook the trees, stand at the far. Is that the right saying? That's how it goes. So maybe that's the situation. But it never made sense to me because if you look down the street, LSU recruits Baton Rouge better than every other Power 4 in the country. Mm-hmm. If you are a top-rated guy, you come out of Baton Rouge, unless it's a situation where at your position, it has to be a quarterback position. If they're so loaded at quarterback and you choose somewhere else, that's fine.
Because I bring this up. When you talk about lack of resources, right? Southeastern, Nichols, and McNeese not playing that NIL game LSU is playing. They're not even playing it with UL, right? UL can come in and clean house.
UL couldn't check.
A lot of the times. But it's the fact is those programs seem to be more established with local talent than what we can see Southern can be. Now, Southern has had some great names over the years of guys from the area, including a Lenore Artillery, who's the all-time leading rusher in SWAC history. Right. And we can go all day. So there is talent from the area that does showcase at Southern, but at the same time, there's, like you said, there's a lot of talent that gets past us and that ends up at those other schools in the region.
I'm gonna tell you this. Now, this is something I just thought about.
Okay.
A lot of those schools that we talk about, they have a Baton Rouge coach, like a guy from Baton Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Southern has ever had a prominent actual Baton Rouge guy that was there. Now, they may come from Lake Charles or New Orleans.
Because New Orleans now is going to be the big push with Marshall Falk being from Carver High School over in the 9th Ward. So that will be a territory that will be definitely looked at. Yeah.
Well, so I would think, for me, and this is just me, we just talking, I would think a guy like Marcus Randall would add so much, like a lot of validity to that program. Like, he's a Baton Rouge guy, super successful, the former LSU coach, successful at the high school level, a successful quarterback trainer. I think they need to figure out how to get a guy like Marcus Randall, because he has so much respect, because I think there is a separation in communication. I really do believe that, because the Southern coaches over the last few years are always from other places.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't have a Baton Rouge guy. Like, I don't understand. Like, Ohio State went and got a New Orleans guy to recruit New Orleans and Baton Rouge. But that's something that Southern has never, not in recent memory for me. Like, we always get guys from other places. And to me, that's the disconnect, because those guys don't have a relationship with the high school coaches.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have a relationship with the high school media. So that's a relationship that I've been to games where McNeese, Southeastern, and Nichols, they standing on the side by me. The Southern coach is not there. And it's not the fact that they don't want to be there. I just think it's a disconnect there, because they're just not from here.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't understand. They recruiting their hometown. Hey, man, I'm from Houston. So you're going to see a lot of Houston guys on Southern's roster. I'm from Dallas, anywhere, Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
I think that maybe needs something that Southern could look at in the near future. But hell, who knows? Southern go out there and go undefeated and win that championship. We can all shut up.
We can all shut up, because I get it all the time, especially coming out of New Orleans. It's like it's like folks want them to just go recruit the whole Edna Carr team and bring them to Baton Rouge.
Well, that's not realistic.
Right.
But
that's what you get on social media.
But this is the thing. I understand what they're saying, because when you go back to 2003, that was a South Louisiana team. Quincy Richards from Opelousas, Darryl Hurst from Baton Rouge. We can go on and on. Keyshawn Johnson from Baton Rouge. We can go down the line. I'm thinking of James Vernon, Alfred Art from Kentwood. I'm just going through the wide receivers now. I'm still missing one, I think. Who else I'm missing? They're gonna be mad too when they hear.
It don't matter.
It was a few, but it was a few South Louisiana. It was not a few. That whole team was a South Louisiana team, and they were extremely successful. So I get it, and I understand with the portal. But I think the proof is in the pudding for every Louisiana school, man. I think you got to recruit Louisiana. You got to go inside out. The old Jimmy Johnson, Miami concept.
And let me say this, because I think the other thing is now, because of the high school talent, the transfer portal is so heavy now. A lot of these guys are not getting looked at to get that offer, because that spot is going to go to a transfer portal guy. So, in that whole recruiting process, we may have a certain number of high school guys that they want to bring to the roster, but everything else they want in terms of experience. Do you think we're selling out the development of a high school talent for the experience of a transfer guy?
I think the transfer portal is being misused. Mm-hmm. I honestly believe that. I think it comes to a point where you can't say, "Oh, we're gonna hit the portal," and you get a first semester JUCO guy, where you could have just. We talking 5 months? That's the difference in this scenario where you chose to get a guy that played one season at a JUCO, and now you're hitting the portal. Like, to me, I don't know if that guy. Now by the same time, my guy Chase Walker was a transfer portal guy after 1 year JUCO, and he can absolutely go. I just think it all goes down to evaluation and having a plan.
Well, the evaluation is the biggest thing. You have to really watch and look at these guys coming out of the transfer portal. You cannot get caught up on names and what it used to be a former 4-star, former 3-star, or he signed at this school. I think oftentimes when you don't do your homework, coaches get caught up looking at that, thinking that's going to create the excitement. But the value does not resonate when it gets here to what you think you're going to get out of this guy because of what he used to be.
I'm from Charlotte. I'm from North Carolina. And one of my partners who coached ball in North Carolina say they got a running back. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to offer him, sight unseen. Then when they show up on campus, that's what goes on a lot with HBCU because they don't have the resources.
Mm-hmm.
So they have to go by the buddy system, which is fine. but you don't offer a kid sight unseen because your homeboy told you to. That's just not how it works. You got to put your eye on him, man.
Or be stubborn and realize he's not producing, and you still letting him go out there and lead the team. I mean,
yeah, we didn't saw that.
Hey.
Boy, Lord.
and you know, we was having this conversation before we get ready to get out of here. For me now, if the transfer portal is going to be the option for a school like Southern, I like the NAIA D3, D2 come up, because those guys have to be producers in order to move up. They had to have been all conference. They had to have led in something, all American. It's the opposite for the guy that's coming down, because the guy that's coming down, if he was anything of that, there's no way he coming to your school because he's staying up. So he's coming down because he did not produce. He is the former whatever guy. He used to be whatever this is. And now when you go try to look up his film, because everybody excited, we got the Kentucky
and I know
quarterback.
I know who he talking about too.
Well, I'm just using it as in general to anything. It's like, all right, well, when you're trying to go look up film, you're looking up still huddle from high school and practice film. But when you go look at that guy who's a proven, whatever the case may be, individual from that D2, D3 NAI, he had to ball out.
I agree.
He had to be something in order for him to move up. And to me, that guy's still hungry. I can afford to play that game because I can't afford to play the game from the guy that's coming from the suburbs and he coming back down. He saw what it was like to have everything and with the resources around him. Now he's somewhere where it's limited resources, entitlement, and it's a different story. And now I'm too busy trying to cater to a guy who has to really prove to me more than what I have to prove to him.
There you go.
And I think we get lost in that sauce of trying to play that game. That game ain't meant for every school to play, including Southern. Southern has to, for me, the pipeline has to come from the smaller schools to work his way up. And hey, if that guy comes to stay a year or two to get the bag, then to go get the bag or somewhere else, that's just the name of the game.
Ain't nothing wrong with being a gateway school. I don't know why that's a bad thing. Be a gateway school.
That's the name of the game. Some people would look at it as, you know, that's what the JUCOs were, you know, but at the end of the day, that's the name of the game.
Totally
Everybody is looking to go to the next level. So if you were able to come in, think about it. Folks still, you know, with Shedeur Sanders now being added to the Pro Bowl, first thing Jackson State people said, hey, that's one of our guys.
Sure did.
Even though he was a stop along the way and he went to Colorado, Travis Hunter, when he won the Heisman, that was our guy when he waited and got drafted.
They played 2 seasons there. You know?
They played 2. So it's okay with a guy. Those days, you think you're finna get 4 years out of a guy and that type of commitment, you got to let that go.
Got to let it go.
But at the same time, it's okay to say, man, if that guy came here and balled out, you want him to go unless you're going to be able to afford him.
Right.
And most likely you're not. So him going along on this journey, he's always going to be a part of what you got, but it's what did you get out of the value of when you got him? And that's why I like those guys. Let's take like a Giovanni Gibson from Opelousas, Louisiana. Got overlooked, ended up going, I think, a smaller school, made his way to D2, UAM in Arkansas, found his way to UAPB, now at Oklahoma.
Went crazy, too. He can play. He can really play.
But think about how that guy he slipped through the cracks in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Like, that's the type of stuff that I say, it's like, I get how that can happen, but that's the type of guy it shouldn't, but he went and worked hard and worked his way up. Everywhere was a stop along the way. And so I like that type of talent. I like the guy that shows me the work ethic and work hard and the heart over the guy that's just, you know, what he used to be. To me, that's what I would fill a team up with.
Right.
You know?
Right. And then you take a guy, then you can take one guy to, you know, take like what Jacoby Morgan was able to do at Jackson State.
Yeah.
You know, you can surround him around those hungry guys. He's a star. He buys in because he's from Mississippi. You know, he buys in, he comes in, and they win a national championship.
All right, everybody. My man, J.K. Lee Sport. Man, Jay, let everybody, Justin Recall, let everybody know.
He's doing him, man.
Let everybody know how they can keep up with not only the Boot Boys, but J.K. Lee Sport. Man, give everybody your information.
Hey, man, I'm across every social media platform, Instagram, X. I'm on YouTube. TikTok is JKLEE Sports with a Z, SPORTZ. Go follow me, man. All of the local talent. We're actually going to do a lot of traveling, getting more high school, trying to broaden that platform so it can help, you know, Southern Grambling, you know, all of these other, you know, try to broaden that platform. So go follow me right now, man. We have a good time.
Man, I appreciate you for coming on here this morning with me, man, and being able to talk about it. And maybe somebody out there that opened their eyes or gave them an opportunity. Now, if you want to keep up with talent that's here in this region, I'm telling you, he is the guy to keep up with. You get a chance to hear from the players themselves through interviews, along with he creates highlights. He does everything to make sure talent in this area is seen, and even to the coaches at Southern. If it's some questions that you got and some talent that you want to know about,
hit me up, man.
JK Lee Sports. And give your dad a shout out.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to Coach Kenny Ricard, man, in 7 West with that megaphone. I think we getting, because he's been years. He's been doing it maybe 5 decades.
I can't never see him when I look up there, but I hear him.
Yeah, and he's so excited, man. So, Jags, man, let's do it, man. Let's do it. Y'all deserve it.
All right, man. Y'all, see, he said he was on here for Southern. Now it's y'all. He ain't us. All right, everybody. Let's get ready to take a break. We'll come back. I'll get ready to close things out. Stay tuned. More to Jaguar Journal.
Washington second, but he's intercepted right there. This time the inside handoff, and the ball was dropped, and Tommy Head. Here's Taylor in the pocket, looking downfield, and looking for Leroy Fields, and this one looks intercepted, and it is.
He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
It's
pass.
a free play.
Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable Michael Hayes. Hayes now with 187 yards receiving. 169-yard touchdown, 181-yard touchdown.
And Southern's came up with all the big plays.
They lead by 14. And that one is intercepted by Darden. Darden looking for some room, and Guyon will finally drag him down. But we start the 4th right after this. 2nd down and 20 after the penalty.
He's got a man wide open.
Going into the corner. Touchdown! Reynolds attempting the point after. It's good. A 32-yard field goal. Kick is up. Kick is good.
This is a great football game.
We knew it would be, though. Torrey Thigpen got us out of our seats.
And this is the punt return by Torrey Thigpen. We were just talking about we haven't seen him. He breaks 2 tackles and runs up the sideline. He has great blocking, but gets pushed out of bounds on about the 1-yard line.
And touchdown Jackson State.
The game is a game of momentum swings. Snap is good. The kick is up.
On driver. Yes, sir.
The ball up to the big receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
All right, everybody. We're back. It's the Jaguar Journal. Good morning. Getting ready to close things out. I'm Perry White. Good morning to everybody on Talk 107.3 FM across the Baton Rouge capital city area, and everybody watching on our YouTube and Facebook Live. Glad to have you guys with us as we get ready to close out. Of course, before I go, be sure to keep up with the Jaguar Journal across all social media. We're on TikTok, we're on X, we're on Facebook, as well as Instagram. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and go keep up with us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Twitch TV. There's no way you can say you did not know. All you got to do is type in the Jaguar Journal, and you will be able to keep up with us across whatever platform that you tend to want to look at the most, man. Want to thank everybody that joined me here on the show this morning. Southern University head men's and women's tennis coach, my man, Coach Jeffrey Conyers, Championship Conyers. Want to thank Coach Carlos Funches, the head women's basketball coach over at Southern University. Want to thank Kevin Johnson, the head men's basketball coach at Southern University. And, of course, my man, Justin Ricard coming in, JK Lee Sport, talking to us. Be sure to keep up with JK Lee Sports. I'm telling you, if you want to know about talent here in this region, in this area, him and his team do a great job of keeping up with young high school football talent. You get a chance to see what the future looks like. And for a lot of those guys, although they may go sign with a FBS school somewhere, sometime when it doesn't work out, those guys find themselves back at home, typically at a Southern or whatever other FCS school within this region. So thank you guys for tuning in this morning. Southern University takes on Alcorn State on the women's side, tip-off at 1 o'clock today. On the men's side, tip-off at 3 o'clock. I'm getting ready to get out of here. I'm headed to the Senior Bowl over in Mobile, Alabama to check out some collegiate talent, pro prospects today, and see what that looks like, you know, as those guys are getting developed and challenged to see who's going to be the future I'm really looking forward to seeing Diego Pavia, the quarterback from Vanderbilt, of course, came from New Mexico. He's one of those guys that's really proven himself. He was a finalist for the Heisman Trophy. And, of course, he's one of those guys as a undersized quarterback, because if you've ever seen him, especially at Vanderbilt, how small he is compared to those big linemen, that's going to be a lot of questions people are having to see what he's going to do on the next level. But there's plenty of talent I'm looking at out there today. But I'll be headed to Mobile here as soon as I get off to the Senior Bowl. I hope you guys that are headed up to Lorman, Mississippi to see Southern and Alcorn be safe. I hope the Jags bring home a win. So, as always, I'll be back next week at the same time in the same place because, as always, it's the Jaguar Journal. Y'all have a good weekend. What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.